Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Road to GT Academy. As you can see, it's on live events and competitions. So essentially, I just wanted to talk about my experiences in the past. Now, I've got some footage of a race. It was in Ferrari F40s, and it was a GT Planet race in their WRS series. So it's a good fun race that you can watch while I talk about my experiences. I wasn't really sure what to show, so I figured a good competitive race would suit this well. So I thought I'd start off with GT Academy 2011 and how I've built up from that, because that was my first proper competition. So, as some of you are probably aware, I qualified on the 2011 GT Academy on a pad. So I was a pad user, and I'd bought a wheel, but I'd not really transferred to it. And then at the end of the time trials, I'd switched to a wheel, and I just beat my time just. But that was just because obviously I knew the car by that point and everything else, so I managed to just improve, but my experience on the wheels wasn't that good. So personally, when I went to the first finals, I was quite nervous about the wheel usage and things like that. First day didn't go well. People kept telling me to take my shoes off for the pedals because I couldn't feel the pedals on the DFGTs. I wanted to just keep with what I knew, because I used some really old trainers which I could feel the pedals with on my own wheel. But it didn't go well, and then on day 2 I thought there's nothing to lose, let's try it, and it turned out to be really good. I ended up winning the time trials on that one. So from that, like when I came to the next GT Academy finals in 2012, I was a full wheel user by this point, and I sort of knew what to expect at the finals with like sort of similar competitions, the layouts, what the judges expect, what I should expect, and also just meeting a few people and sort of knowing what's going to happen and how certain situations are going to run. I feel a bit more comfortable in that, and I'm not as nervous and things like that. Because of course you're going to have nerves. You're in a competition where you're competing for sort of the dream prize of just a racing seat, I mean, that's something I've always wanted to do, is race. So the fact that you're being offered that, you are going to get nervous. Your confidence, you've got to make sure you are confident, and just think that you are at a competition for a reason. You're not there just because somebody has just said, come. Basically, you've got there through the time trials or wildcard. Even if you do it through a wildcard event, you've still won that wildcard event. You're there for a reason. So you should be confident in yourself and thinking that anything can happen on the day, because obviously nearly everybody is in the same situation. Yeah, some people may have a bit more experience, some people may be a bit more confident than others, but you've got to remember, you're all in the same situation. You're all going to have this track, this car, this amount of time to maybe do a lap and then do the race. It's not like everyone's doing 1,000 laps on a time trial at the finals and it's getting a perfect lap. It's basically consistency. So in the 2012 finals, I did do a lot better. Essentially at the 2012 one, it was a points-based system. So we had 3 races each on the first day, and top 18 went through to day 2. So obviously I knew what to do then. I just needed consistency and whatnot. So my first race, I came second. I was behind Deems GT. He was somebody who qualified for the European finals. I did have a chance to overtake him on that race, but it would have been a really late dive, and late dives, because the judges are they can hand out disqualifications and stuff. I didn't see the point of a late dive. I'm there to get as many points as I can just to make sure I qualify for day 2. So second place, thought fair enough. The next race, I think I came second again, possibly, or it could have been third. I can't really remember. But the last race of the day was quite a good one. It was between, well, I came third in it, but it was like the best race from the day. Like everybody was watching it, and it was really enjoyable because Dantastic and Rutter, they had a really competitive battle. I just hung back slightly just to make, if any of them had an accident or anything, I could just get that additional spot, and I knew third position would qualify me for day 2. So yeah, it was good. Day 1, just making sure I qualified for day 2. So realising, you know, the experience on the past. Qualifying the first day, get to day 2, then you've got less to worry about. So on day 2, it didn't go as well. They had to go from 18 drivers to 12, and essentially the first race was to get the A group, Group A. So there was 3 groups of 6, and the top 2 from each went into Group A. I came 3rd in that race, but knowing that there's a Group B, I was quite confident in that I could get to Group B. So the heats to get into Group B came, and it was top 3. So there was 2 races, top 3 from each, and then that was Group A and Group B, so your 12 drivers. So I qualified 4th, and it was on Cape Ring, which is like my worst track ever. But I was still confident in that I could get the place back. So I was there. It was the first, because this was restarted 3 times. So I'll explain sort of like this situation. The first time it was restarted, Jack O'Neill, who also qualified at the European finals, his wheels instantly turned right at the start. Now I saw this, I didn't know whether it was some strategy I hadn't thought of or not, but he initially mentioned the problem and the race was restarted within like 10 seconds. Obviously I'd gone up to 3rd, which meant I could have qualified, but it's fair enough, it was restarted, which I totally agreed with. The second race, it was quite weird actually. We started, and I managed to get myself up to 3rd position. So obviously by this point I'm happy, I'm in 3rd, I've qualified for the Group B, I can go on to all the other challenges and everything else. Now I did notice 2 people had left the room during the race. Now being the top 3 were well ahead of everybody else, so I wasn't too worried about that situation or what had happened or whatever. And we finished the race, I'd finished 3rd, it's like a huge weight lift off your shoulders because you can then focus on the challenges rather than having to qualify. And then they said they had to restart the race again because the 2 pods lost power. Now essentially I was a bit frustrated by that because it didn't have an effect on the result, you know, they were already far behind. But yeah, it was restarted again, and I was unfortunately knocked off on the first corner on the 3rd lap. And obviously by that point, if you've done the additional laps, you're not really going to catch anybody because everybody's generally got their braking point sorted and things like that. So I couldn't catch them, and unfortunately I got knocked out. Then after that, for the rest of the day, there's a losers bracket. So I ended up in that, and I won the first time trial by a country mile. My warm-up lap was the 2nd fastest lap, and then obviously my fast lap was just completely bonkers. It was 7/10 faster than anyone. And the second one I came 2nd, just behind Vibrolux, I believe. And then we had a race, and it was just to drive a 370Z. So I had a good race with Vibrolux, unfortunately lost out on that, became 2nd. With quite a nice catch in it from my own mistake of braking and slightly clipping the grass. But nevertheless, I learnt from that experience, and hopefully I can use that to my advantage in the future. I have done other events as well, and I sort of use those events to sort of get used to other environments. So I did an event called Red Bull Gridsters, which was to racing games. It was F1 2011, GT5 and Forza. Now I only played GT5 really, so I was a complete novice to the others. And I was actually on a live stage for 2 of the races. Funny story, I literally was the first gamer on stage after Sebastian Vettel, so which was quite amusing. So you can imagine the crowd that was listening to me talk on the stage. I'll put a link below because I think the live stream's probably still up or recorded of that. Might be worth a watch or whatever, but essentially I sort of used the atmosphere of like that many people watching and the commentary and things like that, and I sort of helped me sort of, I can embrace that in any future live event I'd ever do, knowing what to expect and things like that. So other than that, I have done other stuff in different games. So I play StarCraft 2 as well, and believe it or not, other games can help you in Gran Turismo. So I'll explain more in depth in another video about how other games can help you train in Gran Turismo. But like, I did live competitions in that. Now I wasn't at the pro level, I was under the pro level, but I've played a few of the pros. If you don't know, StarCraft 2 is the biggest esports game there is. You can earn thousands of pounds from playing the game and things like that. So if you're playing if you play a pro, you can see how they're pro and where you need to improve. But stuff like that as well, where you're being live streamed across the internet to thousands and thousands of people. You do think about that in the back of your mind, but generally those sort of competitions help you focus more on your game. So when you play on your own or in front of an audience, it doesn't affect you as much. So it's about using the experiences and things like that, and sharing those, like me sharing those with you, to sort of help show you that, you know, it may be in a big crowd, it may be the weirdest situation you've ever been in, but everyone's in the same situation and you should just give it your best. So that's essentially everything on live competitions, and how you should use any experience you can get of a live competition to your advantage, to help just put it on your belt basically as experience, and that you can use that experience. Even hold your own competitions. I mean, I race on GT Planet and Ronin, as you're probably well aware. Those experiences help me because I get used to racing environments, racing situations, certain situations that I may never be in, obviously just doing time trials and stuff. So, you know, that helps with that as well, really. I also do, I've mentioned this as well, a STIG event, where I bring my stuff, my PlayStation and stuff, to my workplace because I work in a college, and I dress up as a STIG, do a lap on Top Gear test track, and then I let the students try and beat my lap time and stuff, and it's all quite fun. But obviously, again, you know, it's just a live environment, and then people can, and you can use that to your advantage. But like in that situation, I'm also just trying to, you know, make people enjoy the game and put a smile on people's faces, really. But yeah, that's essentially competition and live events, and how you should use those to your advantage. Just get that experience, and then when you're there, not to worry about it too much, just focus on what you have to do, and, you know, making sure you qualify for each individual round. So I hope you guys enjoyed well, this piece of video footage, this little race with Gooners, but also just understanding the situation of competitions, live competitions, the experiences you can get, and, you know, sort of making sure you perform well at the competitions. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.